When the thoughts are calmly collected and the imagination is properly directed, the dots are easily connected.
All right, welcome back, guys. My name is Nico Sofianos, and today I'm going to talk about a very important distinction. And the word distinction, let's just get to the etymology. To distinguish is to draw, to bring light to. All right, so that means able to see the truth, basically, between two, specifically. So it's like discernment. So distinction, discernment, think of it in the same way. In this particular case, as the title says, community versus network. It is very important that these aren't mistaken, because nowadays especially you hear this is a buzzword, my community and the community, and especially in the new age spiritual community. It's like, what exactly makes us community other than the fact that we might see each other, here and there and dance around, to some dope, spiritual music. And it's like, other than that, we don't even necessarily know each other's name. Like, we might recognize each other. And this is the thing, like, it's the same thing with networks. Like, in a network, you don't necessarily have to know each other's name. You just know the service that person provides. And like, for example, like a wedding planner has a network of, floral people. It has the DJs that it can call on it. So it's very impersonal. And that's a network. And in this day and age with like Facebook friends and, multiple mutual friends, we have huge networks. However, what are we calling community? Let's define community, because community is more of a tribal, indigenous way of being, where we're living and coexisting in a way where we not only see, but we totally understand both the strengths and weaknesses of one another. We know how to leverage one another, and we really like a family. We coexist in a way that, we know each other's names, but again, it's deeper than just that. And once upon a time, at least in the beginning of this Aquarian age, if we call it the beginning of, but when the New Age stuff started really surfacing, as we got to hear from Michael Moon in our episode, there were really small, tight-knit communities of actual people coming together, coming into unity to do what? To exalt, to edify, to celebrate, to help heal, to hold space for you and me and everybody within this family to fulfill their themselves, to come into actualization. And that means facing both the light and the dark. And this is what's happening now, is we have massive networks coming together and partying and doing recreational drugs, or maybe now they're plant medicine, so mushrooms and stuff. So it makes it even more, spiritual, and makes them feel more connected to each other, because it's true, that's what these drugs do. But it's like, let's not confuse the fact that, the network is not the community. The community is a very tight-knit thing. As it started out, people playing drums together and, having circle, discussions and challenging one another's, beliefs and doing like the colloquial kind of work, but ultimately to exalt one another. It wasn't just to, expand your number of followers. And this is the sad thing about the impersonal nature of social media. We went from friends on Facebook to now it's just followers. And like, people are using this vanity metric to discern who's like the leader, the ringleaders of these communities, and that's just so sad. That's so the opposite, because there are no leaders in communities. Everyone is a leader in a different aspect, because everyone has a different role in which they most excel. But ultimately, the common goal is very, very well known by everybody, and that is to thrive, and share resources and everything. So, yeah, I wanted to really touch on this, because I feel like I personally have been as a rapper, I've freestyled in circles. I've, as a hand drummer, been able to, be a part of many different drum circles. As a break dancer, or even just as a stunt guy, I've been part of, many different small communities of stunt people, tricking and flipping and stuff. But one thing I realize is not to confuse the network, because the network is something more business related. It's more, you make your network work. You ever heard that one? Like, make your net work. Like, it's more business. Community truly is, break it down, coming together, you and me, to breed opportunity. How? By looking at where we excel and where we don't, and holding each other accountable for where we don't. That's the most important thing about community. Giving each other the space to show up and be vulnerable and recognize where maybe they continue to repeat certain traumas, because we know each other, so we see patterns. And I think that's really all I can say to it. I want to hear more from you guys. Like, comments below. You know, what is your definition of community? What is your definition of network? And how do you distinguish the two? And do you agree that this is equally, like I believe, a very pertinent theme right now? Because I feel like this is like for the youth that are coming up and taking lead from us. They're learning bad habits and definitions of what it means to be community, and already they're isolated enough as it is. So when they come together, if they're confusing the two, man, we're just setting ourselves up for, instead of a trajectory to an evolutionary ascension, to an incredibly horrible separation. And we know that there's a plan for that. You know, the oppositional forces that want to just divide. You know, so Tell me what you think, and remember, when the mind is calmly collected and the imagination is properly directed, the dots are easily connected. So before you even comment, take a deep breath. Remember, collect your mind, and then use your imagination, image to really like check in with what it is that you can bring to this community. This is a community. We're connecting the dots together. I'm your host, Nico Sofianos, but remember who you are.